What does choosing life mean to you? For me, it has meant making difficult decisions, trust, rediscovery, and at times learning that it can take an entire community. In October of 2015, I was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer called chordoma. In fact, it is only diagnosed in 1 in a million people each year. Currently, there are 1,800 people living with chordoma worldwide. We are all from different backgrounds and range in age from about 10 months to 75. And I know this because we have a Facebook page. For me, chordoma was a skull-based tumor that had been growing in my body for some time until its presence was made known because I lost vision in one eye. However, chordoma can grow anywhere along the spinal cord. It is typically chemo-resistant, and at this time, there is no cure. Most treatments for chordoma are administered in the form of clinical trials. Patients face risks like blindness, paralysis, and because of the general proximity of the tumors in relation to vital organs, radiation is only an option once. Now, I don't recommend doing what I did when I was first diagnosed, but I Googled it. I read for hours, but one of the facts stood out most. The average survival rate for people with chordoma is about 7 years. I thought of my daughter, the life I had built, the job that I loved, and the obvious lack of time I was going to have to experience all of it. It was in that moment that the words I had read were so powerful. I was certain I was going to die. So I called a good friend, looking for comfort. But she suggested I call her mom. Now, her mom is a breast cancer survivor, and like all mothers, the distributor of undeniable wisdom. It was during an intense conversation that this survivor gave me 2 of the most important words I will ever hear. She said, "Choose life." Well, in addition to the words, I also wanted all of the answers and the manual so that I too could survive. But she didn't give me any of those things. Instead, she issued a challenge. She said that I would need to work to find out what choosing life was going to mean for me and for my life. The first step was to choose a clinical trial and move to Texas. My surgery was scheduled for late December of 2015. In about 8 hours, a team of doctors removed a hard-to-reach tumor located near my brainstem without one visible scar. This is because they did the whole surgery through my nose. They were able to remove the entire tumor, and this was a huge victory worthy of celebration. But I didn't do much celebrating. For me, walking and gaining back my independence was a little more important. When I could climb stairs, I was ready to move on to the next part of my journey. Initially, I received 11 treatments of regular radiation, and in March of 2016, I moved on to proton beam radiation. It was there that I met a family who loved me as their own, and their little warrior named Connor. Connor was about 14 months old at the time, and we went through the same clinical trial together. Our family spent time celebrating milestones throughout treatment. Connor and his family helped me redefine my relationship with my own daughter. It was in observing their resilience that I became aware of the need to reprioritize and choose a higher quality of life for her. But choosing life doesn't always mean we get to choose to live, because life isn't fair. It was devastating to learn that I would make it to my first 6-month checkup and Connor would not. But I consider my time with him a gift in every sense of the word. I was able to witness an entire family become a source of compassion for others through the most trying of times. It was this strength and selflessness that Connor and his family used to teach me more about choosing life than I could ever hope to fully convey in this lifetime. Choosing life isn't easy. At times, it has meant learning and relearning that no matter who we are, where we come from, and what we stand to lose, there are some circumstances in life nobody is exempt from. For me, it was cancer. And for others, it is a loss or experience just as profound. It can mean leaving a career that you loved, because part of rebuilding is finding out who you are and how you can best serve others all over again. It is finding your starting place when you come home, but the entire definition of home has changed. It is figuring out how to keep the relationships you have formed with other people, because now they're a part of your story and you're not done writing yet. Choosing life has been the heartbreak of letting go and learning to be grateful for time and memories that you're able to keep. It is a conversation, an experience, or a gesture that reminds you that choosing life is never just a personal choice. At times, it's a community effort of selfless actions taken by others who refuse to allow you to fail, even when your world is very dark. For me, they were high school classmates who bought my groceries and looked after my basic needs. Coworkers who called me every day during their lunch hour so that I knew I wasn't forgotten. Strangers who I met and had a deeper connection with than most, because they too had experienced the loss of a life they loved and were in the process of rebuilding. My mom and dad, who took care of my daughter throughout treatment and loved her as their very own. Volunteers who tied beautiful scarves around my head when my hair fell out. Choosing life was falling in love and the warm embrace that made me feel beautiful when I was uncomfortable in my own skin and sorting through all of the pieces, trying to find myself again. Upon returning to New Mexico, choosing life has been found in the beauty of new beginnings. It has been the gift of a new career. And finding that others still have faith in the ideas and abilities I thought I lost. It has been coming to terms with the aftermath of insurmountable loss through forgiveness, and in turn finding others who share the same beliefs and drive. There are people all around us who live in the ability to choose a higher quality of life for others through gifts of the most passionate kind. They choose to look past our current circumstances and remind us that we too have chosen life in all of the hats we wear. Sometimes we just need a little help to wear them. They are comedians like Rusty Rutherford, who uses humor to reach out to the youth who need it most. And they also stop by to rap at your daughter's birthday party because joy comes in many forms. And at that time, she could have used a little joy. She was starting her first week at a new school without me. They make amazing scientific discoveries like harissa sabanmatsu, and they move an entire project to Texas because the value of friendship is greater than any distance. Like Joanne Mitchell, they send first-generation college students to 4-year universities. And they also give you a job rooted in social justice, the starting place you were looking for. Even though it took her a lot of faith, because I hadn't gotten the final word I was in remission just yet. They do this tirelessly. Choose life for others because they have found what makes their soul happy. They choose to spend their time carving the edges to the final piece of the puzzle that strengthens our communities one person at a time. I fought hard to ensure that this was not just a story I would tell all of you about cancer, because choosing life is so much more than just my story. It is the common thread that has moved multiple souls to begin a connection. It has been opening the doors to the opportunities that live within possibility, even when the possibilities are very small. Because in walking a path that forces us out of our comfort zone, we are able to receive gifts from others that fill us with the courage we need to choose life. In turn, we are empowered to make decisions along the way that will inspire people to choose life as well.